Meeting is valid provided all the requisites of a valid meeting are present. There are three groups of requisites. A meeting must be properly convened. The meeting must be properly constituted. The meeting must be properly conducted. Without these requisites, all decisions taken at a meeting are considered void. A meeting must be properly convened or called when the following conditions are fulfilled. First, a notice containing all the details required has been sent to every person entitled to attend the meeting. The details are the date, time and place of the meeting, the agenda or the item to be discussed at the meeting, date of the notice, signature of a competent person calling the meeting, additional information if any, for example, explanatory notes to a special business. Second, the notice is sent within proper time. There are specific rules with regards to the proper time. For example, a notice for any members meeting of a company must be sent at least 21 days before the meeting. Third, the notice is sent to the recorded address of the person entitled to receive the notice. The notice may be sent by ordinary post. Under exceptional case, notice can be given over the telephone. The notice may be sent by a messenger. We move to the meeting must be properly constituted. A meeting shall be properly constituted or the gathering is valid and competent to take decision if the following conditions are fulfilled. First, the chairperson, office bearers, committee members are appointed according in the constitution of the organization. Second, the quorum or the required minimum number of persons must be present in person. The quorum shall preferably be continuously present. Third, there must be chairman who is duly elected at the meeting or already elected. He must be a person competent to be the chairman. Next, we move to a meeting shall be properly conducted. First, the rules and regulations for conducting the meeting are followed. Those rules may be statutory of the organization, customary or conventional or a combination of them. Second, notes shall be continuously and correctly taken by the secretary so that proceedings or minutes can be prepared for evidence. Third, the secretary shall take notes on the proceedings, prepare the minutes on the basis of those notes and get the minutes confirmed by the chairman. Subsequently, after that, virtually a valid meeting is complete.
Hi, I'm Nurul and Nashwa, Binti Shaidy. We'll be explaining about inaugural meeting. So what is inaugural meeting? Inaugural meeting is the first meeting for a new organization or a first speech by a new leader of an organization or a country. In his inaugural address, the president appealed for unity. So, the general procedure of an inaugural meeting is first, the convener or inaugurator calls the meeting to order. Second, the temporary chairman is elected. Third, a temporary secretary is appointed. Fourth, the inaugurator proposed the motion to consider the formation of the society. He then gives a speech explaining the need for the society. Next, the members discuss the point raised by the inaugurator. Any necessary amendments to the inauguration motion are made at this point. The motion is voted upon, it is passed, the meeting move on to the next time. So then, the name of the society is decided upon. Then, the provisional office bearer are elected. So next, a drafting committee is appointed to draw up the constitution and standing order of the society. So after that, the drafting committee is given some time, weeks or months, to draw up the constitution and standing orders. After that, the members assemble after the constitution and standing order are ready. Then, the chairman calls the meeting to order. So So the second last is the meeting discuss, amend and pass the constitution and standing order. And lastly, the meeting is closed. So this is the format for notice of an inaugural meeting. So this is the format for agenda for an inaugural meeting. Okay, then I will explain to you about the format for minutes of an inaugural meeting. So this is the head of the format. For the full example of inaugural meeting, you can turn to page 46 to 50 to look for the full example of the format for meeting of an inaugural meeting. So firstly is the opening the meeting. So in that content, it must be stated the convener welcome the residents and thank them for attending the meeting. Then the convener explain the purpose of calling them for the meeting. And lastly, the detail of the purpose will be explained by the inaugurator a little later. So second content is the selection of temporary chairman. So it must be stated that the first item of business was the election of the temporary chairman to conduct the meeting. So the temporary chairman will be elected with a large majority. So the third content is the appointment of the temporary secretary. So a person will be appointed as the temporary secretary. So the fourth content is the inaugurator's address. Temporary chairman then call upon the inaugurators to explain to those who present on the need to form the organization. So in his address, the inaugurator must have the following point, which is first, form an organization to look after the interests of the residents. Second, a need to help residents know one another. Third, various activity could be carried out. Fourth, criminal activity that happen around them. And lastly, racial polarization should not be allowed. So the next is the discussion. So it must be stated that several participants spoke on matters pertaining to the need to form an organization. After a lively debate, a participant will propose a motion and be supported by the others. The motion was put to the vote and unanimously carried out. After the discussion, name of the organization will be chosen. Temporary chairman then called for proposal for a suitable name for the organization. Several names will be collected, vote for the best name, and lastly, the majority will be chosen as the name for the organization. So next is the appointment of provisional officers and committee members. The chairman then proposed the provisional officers and committee members be appointed to start off the association. He suggests that it was not wise to hold an election at the first general meeting. The chairman's proposal was put to the vote and unanimously carried. So next is the appointment of subcommittee to draft the constitution. The chairman then mentioned the need for a drafting committee of 2 or 3 people to be appointed to draft the constitution of the association. The drafting committee was given time to complete its business. So the second last is the date, place and time for the next meeting. So the member will be informed of the date, time and place of the meeting. So lastly is the meeting adjourned. There being no further business, so the meeting was adjourned at the time with vote of thanks to the chairman. So this is the end of the format for the inaugural meeting. So once again, I repeat, if you want to look for the full format, you can turn to page 46 to 50.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good day. Today, I will be presenting about Annual General Meeting. AGM, that is short for Annual General Meeting, is a meeting for the general membership of an organization. An organization may conduct its business in this meeting, such as electing a board of directors, making important decisions regarding the organization, or informing the members about previous and future activities. This is a general procedure of an annual general meeting. First, the chairman calls the meeting to order and makes his opening remarks. Second, the attendance of the members are checked and apologies of those who are absent are recorded. In the third procedure, the minutes of the previous AGM will be read and the chairman will ask if anyone wants to comment on it. After the discussion, or if there is no amendments, the minutes will be passed and it will be signed and dated by the chairman. Fourth, the chairman gives a general review of the society's activities over the past 1 year. In the fifth procedure, both secretary and treasurer will give out the reports. The secretary will read out all the activities carried out during that past year, and the treasurer will read out the current state of account. Next, there will be discussion followed by the adoption of the annual reports and statement of accounts. After that, there will be an election of officers and executive committee. In the eighth procedure, special business is discussed, such as proposed amendments to constitution and standing orders. Before ending the meeting, there will be discussion of any other business. After all the procedures have been carried out, the meeting will be closed with a vote of thanks to the chairman. That is all I can present to you about annual general meeting. Bye!
Assalamualaikum and hi, my name is Raihana and I'll be presenting about extraordinary general meeting procedures. So first things first, you have to know what is an EGM, short for extraordinary general meetings. Is a meeting held other than the scheduled annual general meetings and can also be called as a special meeting or an emergency meeting. Okay, so what is the purpose of an EGM? An EGM is held to deal with urgent matters that occur or arises during an annual general meeting, such as resolving immediate legal matters or maybe to discuss about the sudden change in status of a company or clubs, or most commonly is to discuss about the removal of a key manager. Okay, there is a clear difference between AGM and EGM. So AGM, annual general meeting, is held schedulely. There is a fixed time and date and can only be held during business hours, while EGM, extraordinary, can be held anytime including holidays and is usually given out on short notice. But an EGM can also be held during an AGM and it will be called as a mixed general meeting. Okay, so next we'll be talking about the general procedures for an extraordinary general meeting. So first things first, the meeting is called to order and opening remarks are made, especially from the chairman. Attendance is checked and apologies are made for those that are absent, are recorded. Third is special business is discussed and normally a resolution is made. And lastly, meeting is closed with a vote and vote of thanks to the chairman. Okay, so the functions of the votes at an EGM. It is valid when it is following the principle of quorum and the required majority. So I'm sure everyone knows what is the meaning by majority, which is the highest numbers of votes casted in favor of a decision. But for quorum, the principle of quorum means the minimum number of participants in that meeting. So meaning if there are, for example, 20 people in a meeting, so if a decision gets 15 votes and the 5 others vote for another decision, that means the decision that has the most votes will be agreed on. Okay, next we'll be talking about the comparisons between EGM and AGM. So the first thing that we'll be comparing about is their notices. So their notices are actually very similar with only a slight differences. So what's similar between these two notices is that they both contain the association's name, notice of the general meeting, when will the meeting be held, that contains the day and date, time, and where. When we're talking about where, it's about they state which building it is, or maybe the level of the floor in that building, or which room. They also contain the signature, name, and position of the person who created this notice, which is usually done by the secretary, and of course the date of when this notice is issued. Okay, but the slight differences of these two notices is EGM, they contain the purpose of why this meeting is held, because AGM, since the name AGM is Annual General Meeting, and it's usually fixed and it's usually done all the time. So it's considered as a regular meeting. But since EGM is more of an urgent meeting, they state the purposes of why this meeting is held. Moving on to their agenda. EGM and AGM's agenda are also similar. They both contain the association's name on the top, but the only difference is that EGM, they state that this agenda is for an EGM, Extraordinary General Meeting. They also contain the signature, name and position of whoever created this agenda, which is usually done by the secretary themselves, and the date of when this agenda is issued. So the main difference here is an EGM's agenda is shorter than the agenda for an annual general meeting, which contains, for an AGM, it contains a routine opening items, main business, and routine closing items, which is more detailed. But for an EGM's agenda, it contains 4 components, which is the chairman's addresses, where he thanks everyone for their presence to the meeting, apologies for absence for whoever couldn't make it to the meeting. Special business is to explain about the situation, the urgent matter, why they have to hold this meeting, and the closing is to thank the members for coming to the meeting. Okay, lastly is the format minutes of an extraordinary general meeting. So above here actually is the association's name, and this statement that says minutes of an extraordinary general meeting, and then below it is the intro, where it says about the association's meeting held when and where, and then whoever is present during the meeting, which is usually attended by the chairman and all of the members. And then below it, they talk about the agenda and its details, including the discussion about the arising matter and their decision taken. So the agenda that they'll write is the chairman address, apologies for absence, special business, and closing. Below each of those agendas has its own details. And then at both sides here, on the left side, it says recorded by, signature, name and position, which is usually done by the secretary, and the date of when this format is issued. And on the right side is confirmed by the chairman's name, and of course his position, the chairman.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nurul Hasyira. My topic for today is committee meeting procedure. It is the procedure of a committee, executive and management meeting. It is important for the chairman and all the members of a committee to be well versed with the general procedure of a committee meeting. It is to ensure that it runs smoothly without any waste of time. The chairman will make sure the meeting starts on time, welcome new members, and make any necessary introduction, thank them for the attendance, and call or receive apologize if they can't attend the meeting. The committee or the chairman will instruct the members to read the minutes which have been sent to them individually. The chairman asks the member if the minutes are an accurate record of the last meeting. If the members notice that there's any inaccuracy of omission, they could draw this to the attention of the chairman, who will make the relevant changes or corrections. The chairman firstly will sign the minutes to confirm that they are an accurate record, once the minutes are found to be satisfactory to all the members. Secondly, the chairman will lead the discussion on to the matters arising from the previous meeting. It is an opportunity to deal with the business discussed. Thirdly, the chairman will bring to the attention of the members any correspondence that has been received. If the correspondence received are related to any specific topic on the agenda, the topic will be discussed when it is brought up. If the correspondence received unrelated topics on the agenda, the secretary reads it or distributes a copy of it. So after the correspondence has been dealt with, the committee will go on to consider any reports that are to be presented. This report may include the treasurer's financial report or report from subcommittees. Copies may be circulated to all the members. So the chairman leads to the discussion on the items that form the main business of the meeting. These items are listed individually on the agenda under heading Special Business. They also will invite and encourage all members to participate in the discussion and present their views. The motion. What's the motion? The motion is members who wish to propose an idea or suggestion related to the business being discussed would put forward a proposal. There must be another members who support or second the motion. All motion or proposal must have a proposer or a seconder. If there is no seconder, the motion is dropped or will not be discussed anymore. When a motion has been proposed or seconded, the chairman would firstly usually allow members some time to present their views and opinion on the motion. Second, a vote is taken to see if the majority of the committee accept or rejects the motion. If a motion is accepted by the majority, it is carried and it is become a resolution, and if it is not accepted, the motion is defeated. We can see that under special business, members put forward their views and proposals. After discussion led by the chairman, votes are taken. It is an important decision made by the committee. After the item under special business has been discussed, the chairman asks members if there is any other business that they wish to bring up. It is an opportunity for members to raise any matters not listed as topics for the main business of the meeting. The members usually only ask for or give information, and no important business is dealt with at this point. Date, time, venue of the next meeting are discussed and decided upon. Lastly, the chairman will then close the meeting with a few appropriate words. For example, he could thank the members for their active participation of the meeting. They will summarize important issues which have been discussed and decision reached. Final instruction to the personnel and individuals who have been assigned tasks. That's all from me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nurul Binti Abdul, and today I'm going to talk about summary on general procedure for ordinary committee meeting. To make sure this meeting proceeds smoothly, there are basic procedure for the committee meeting. So the first one is the chairperson opens the meeting and make his opening remark. If a quorum is required, a call is made and the meeting can proceed. If quorum is not present and the meeting is adjourned, he may welcome all members and thank them for their attendance. This stage helps the members to know that the meeting is going to start. So the second one is any apologies for absent from member are unable to attend are announced by the secretary. So the third one is members should read the minutes before going to the meeting, or secretary reads the minutes out loud if required by the chairperson. The chairperson is going to ask the member if they agree with the minute of the previous meeting. So the next one, if the member have noticed incorrect item, they can ask for the relevant part of the minute to be amended. The chairperson instruct the secretary to amend the minutes, and the minutes is going to be approved and signed by the chairperson. So the next one, the chairperson then asks if anybody wishes to talk about matter arising from the previous meeting. In this stage, the members can tell the other members about the progress or development from previous meeting. So the next one, if any correspondence has been received that is not related to the specific topics on the agenda, the secretary read it or distribute copies of it. If there is no correspondence, the item will be left out of the agenda. The next one, if there is any reports to be presented, committee member must prepare necessary copies for the meeting. If the person who wishes to present a report is absent, he or she will give the necessary document to the secretary to be present in the meeting. So The next one, the chairperson then leads the discussion the chairperson then leads the discussion to the item that form the main business of meeting and lists individually on the agenda. In this stage, the members can propose their ideas. The next one, before the end of the meeting, there is an opportunity for members to raise any matter not list as topic for the main business of the meeting. Members usually ask for or give information, and no important business is to be discussed at this point. If there is any issue, it will be brought up in the next meeting. The next stage is the date, time, and the venue of the next meeting are discussed. The exact time, date, and venue the exact time, date, and venue of the next meeting is going to be decided in this meeting. And the last one, the chairperson closes the meeting. He closes the meeting and thanks all the members for their participation. Thank you. That's all from me.